welcome, Lucky. My name is Lloyd Otu, um, and you can call me either of those. I'll be fine. Um, I'm a founder, co-founder, sales marketing CRM specialist, SEO too now. Um, yeah, with over 8 years of experience and multilingual as well. I speak multiple languages. Um, lived in different parts of the world, so multicultural. That has also helped with the sales experience because different spaces, different types of sales skills that you have to acquire to be able to, push and market like your products. Welcome everybody. What's the definition of tech sales? So basically, tech sales is processing of selling the process of selling technology or software, hardware, or an IT service. And I think it goes beyond that. I think it's just the process of pushing whatever product that you are required to push. The process of communicating with people and telling them the value of whatever product you're trying to sell to them and how that's going to like affect their businesses or change their lives basically. And I put it that way every time because I think whenever we talk about sales, we make it sound so ambiguous and big, but it's pretty much a very simple process of telling you, hey, you need this pen, I have this pen, here's what the pen is going to do for you, and how it's going to change your perspective to writing, your perspective to excellent writing and stuff like that. It's like very simple. So we're here to break it down as much as possible, and also people get in and see how simple it can be. So I'll try to share this slide. I don't know if my system would carry it. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. Let me see if I can share my screen. Let me see if I can share my screen. Entire screen will be fine. Mhm. Let me know when you guys see my screen.
It's coming up. Okay, yeah, it's here.
If it doesn't work out, I'll just keep going like that.
Yeah, we
So
can see
yeah,
it.
the first thing as a salesperson is to be teachable, right? And you have to be open-minded, basically to thrive because sales is a very fast-paced environment, and there are different spheres, different dimensions to it. Like I said, um, I needed to be multicultural and multilingual to be able to sell in different environments. And the key to that was understanding that just because I sold in America doesn't mean I'll sell in the UK at the same pace with the same skill. Just because I could relate to somebody in Gambia doesn't mean I'll be able to relate to somebody in China the same way. So you have to understand these nuances and these differences to be able to thrive in the sales environment. So basically, just be teachable, and that will give you more space to be able to learn without prejudice and be able to adapt to like new skills. For us in tech, it's even worse because every single day, I mean, now I think AI is like the big thing. And if you're not catching up, you could literally like lose your job. They just created, I think her name is Devin, and literally Devin is a coder. She codes. Like they months ago they thought it was impossible, but now Devin codes literally. And now the guys who are like software devs have to like adapt to that, or they will get fired. That's just it. Like, why would I pay you when I can just, get an AI software that's gonna do your job? Literally, that's where we are now. So if you're not like going with the times, you literally get thrown out. And trust me, there are younger ones coming up trying to like learn these things, trying to get better at it. So you that's like deep into it has to like be able to adapt to these things. Um, for best practices, right? I would say this is different per environment, right? So best practice is standard and set of guidelines that's known to produce good outcomes if followed. And this translates to basically a guide throughout your career trajectory in tech sales. And questions to like focus on are like industry standards and professionalism, basically. For every industry, there are guidelines that you have to follow when selling. There are times when I've approached people and been very direct. Per their industry, that's what they need, right? They don't want you coming to like sugarcoat things. You're gonna come and tell them, hey, this is how you want to sell stuff, and this is stuff you want to sell, and then just go with that. For some people, they like to build relationships, right? They don't want you to sound all salesy. They wouldn't even listen to you because they just don't like it, right? I give an example. Real estate market wholesale in the US. Literally, if you sound salesy, they wouldn't even talk to you for like 2 seconds. And this is you trying to do cold calling where you don't know this person. You're trying to convince them to sell, and they will literally hang up on you. You would get a lot of rejections, as opposed to somebody who tries to call, same cold call, but builds a relationship with them. Now, in the tech environment, you don't necessarily need to build that much relationship. Just tell them this is the product you're selling. If they see the value, they jump on it. If they don't, they tell you, okay, they don't need it, and you move on. There's no point in like trying to build a relationship. They know you're there to sell to them. They are okay with that. So those are like two examples, and there are many more where you have to like follow standard practice and guidelines for like these different industries. Now, the next one is having technical aptitude, right? If you do not understand what you're selling, and this is either the product or the service, then you cannot convince the next person to understand how much they need this product or service. It means that basically you have not been convinced about what you're selling. So how then can you convince the next person that, oh, this is good for them? It's why sometimes I see ads where you can tell that this person doesn't even use this product, right? Especially with like beauty industry. They come in and they like practically rob whatever and tell you, oh, go buy it. But like you can tell that this person doesn't use the product. You can tell that there's a gap between them and the product, or them and the service, right? And so they're not even convincing enough to like the market to be able to. And you see that if you're somebody who's like deep into sales, you're going to see that a lot. So it's something that you should be convinced enough. And if you're not, then go deep into research for your product and service. Go deep into it till you find the thing that you love about it, so that that's your selling point. That's the part where you start with when you're trying to convince people to get on board with this product or service. Communication, I think this one everybody knows this. If you cannot communicate clearly, you definitely are not going to reach the audience that you plan to reach. And for some people, I guess this is a hard nut to crack, especially if you're an introverted person who is not so keen on communicating with a lot of people, but you're in the sales department. You have to break out of your shell. Even if it's for professional purposes, you probably go on courses. I know that I used to have a problem with communication. I'm somebody who can stay on my own and literally not speak to anybody for like days, and that's fine, right? And I'm okay. It's not like something's wrong. And when I got into sales, the first thing I did ever was cold calling. It was so hard for me. It was difficult. And I knew I was good with conversations. I could talk to people. Approaching people was never a problem, but the need and the urge to do it wasn't there. So I had to take courses, I had to take extra classes, I had to learn from my superiors, I had to also meet people who were mentors at the time to teach me how they did it. And over time, also not running away from that duty. So if you have a target of making 100 calls a day, you make it 110, 120, it means you're going deeper into this thing that scares you, right? And that literally was the thing that helped me get better. And in my next job after that, code calling was one of my selling points, which like showed how much I had grown from like the previous one that I got, because the first one was difficult, but like the next one, and it just kept getting better, right? It got better with every single job that I got. That became a selling point. That became something that I could pick up the phone and literally communicate with anybody, right? Um, it took time, yes, but it was something that I knew that, yes, this was a problem. I had to fix it. So communication, as simple as it sounds, can be a stumbling block for some people. And so you have to get past that your natural state of not wanting to communicate or being scared of communicating, and start where you're comfortable. We have people who just dive into cold calling like myself. Some people start with cold emails. Cold emails are good, sometimes effective. I think we're going past that now. Not a lot of people like respond to emails. Most people are probably on like social media, um, interactive channels like Slack, like WhatsApp, Facebook. Way before they even check their emails, they will check this. Most people pick up their phones, check these apps before they even go to their emails. So over time, cold emailing is like going off, especially AI coming in as well, but also still effective in some industries. So if you are scared to be somebody who wants to be on the phone, emails could be the first place you could start with, but you can't run away from it totally. It's something that you have to dive in and then learn the parts where you're weak, and get stronger in those parts. I think in interviews they ask for people's weaknesses because of this, so that the company knows how to help you get over your weakness and also see that you're somebody who's planning to work on those weaknesses. And that's why for a lot of companies, the red flag if you say you don't have um, a weakness, because it shows that you don't know yourself. Everybody has a part where they're not so strong, and if communication is yours, then that's something you have to work on. The next one is adaptability. I think I've touched on that already. Because for every industry you go to, of course, you have to be able to adapt, right? The teachable part, I think, relates to this. Um, because if you're not teachable, then you can't easily adapt. You can be rigid with your processes, right? Every company has a sales process. Every industry has sales processes. You cannot come in thinking that because you thrived in your former company, it means that you're going to thrive in this new company. Because you thrived in selling the former tech, it means you're going to like sell this new tech same way. It doesn't work like that. You have to understand that with every single day that goes, there are people who evolve the industry. There are people who bring out new things to learn. There are people who literally go in there and try to like change industry standards, right? Market trends, customer needs is like one thing that obviously evolves every single day. So adaptability is something that you have to have. You just have to be adaptable. Empathy. Now, um, this is just like communication, right? Because it's a natural emotion that everybody has, just different stages, different, levels. Empathy allows you to connect with your clients, with your customers. Yes. Understanding pain points, tailoring solutions to meet their specific needs. So you might not be somebody who has that naturally, but you have to work on it. You might be somebody who's just there for your, 9 to 5 job, and you just want to get things done, hit your KPIs and move. But if you're not connected with your customers, then you might have a lot of acquisitions, but not retention. And I think that's the part where um if you're not somebody who cares about the company, you wouldn't mind, you wouldn't give like, you wouldn't put the effort to learn. But if it's somebody who values your position in wherever you're working, it's something that you have to really look at, because customer retention is key for every single industry. The fact that you have returning clients, the fact that you have people who are like so dedicated to your brand that they always keep coming back, they're so dedicated to your product that regardless of competition, they want to still work with you. It means that they've connected with your company, it means that they've connected with how you guys are driving whatever product that you're driving. It means that you've connected with their pain points, and they feel like, okay, this company gets me on a level where, it's just beyond brand. Now it's also it's like the iPhone, right? No matter what you tell some people that, oh, Samsung is way better, they're still gonna stick with the iPhone. They've connected with it on that deep level. I know a lot of people who do things with ecosystem. They're in the Apple ecosystem, some of them are in the Samsung ecosystem. And no matter what you tell these two people, they wouldn't ever leave, no matter what you tell them. Why? Because they've connected deeply with this product. And even if you tell them, oh, Apple has this thing that Samsung doesn't have, the person who's dedicated to Samsung will stay. And we see this every day, even online. Like we see how people will literally form communities over products, over brands, right? It just shows you how deep like these brands have connected with them, shows you how much they've connected with these products. And the key to understanding people is obviously emotional intelligence. You cannot see somebody and assume where they are mentally, emotionally. So you have to work on that. It's something that you have to understand people by conversing with them, by communicating properly. You see how you navigate complex interpersonal dynamics and resolve conflicts, right? A lot of people would not be fully satisfied, right? And another way to also keep them coming back, regardless of how not so satisfied they feel, is how you connect with them, right? And also how you try to like pay attention to their complaints, how you try to pay attention. I know companies that have such bad services, bad products, but because of how they attend to people's complaint, literally people are still, even the people don't know why they're staying, right? Because now there's nothing keeping them there. But because they know that, oh, whenever I try to complain to these people, within 5 to 10 minutes, they've gotten back to me, literally that gets them stuck, because the other ones who claim to have better products don't attend to them in that way, right? And you can see this across different industries. In tech, we have a lot of people who are brilliant but lack emotional intelligence because they're so focused on the tech part of the business. They're so focused on like the money part of the business, the finance, and they are not simply connecting with like people's needs. They're not. They feel like as long as the product is good, that's all. But it goes beyond that. That's why every single company needs a sales team, because no matter how good your product is, somebody has to be there that will help you connect with your clients, with your potential clients, with your returning clients. There has to be a people facing team that deals with this. If not, I don't care how good your product is, it will not beat your competitor who's putting in effort in building the sales team that connects with people. Resilience and persistence. Well, this is a very major one. Um, the first thing I always tell people who I speak to is be used to no, be conversant with getting no, be expecting that you're gonna beat somebody's no. Understand that rejection and setbacks, you will get that a lot. I've worked with different experts, sales experts, who would literally come in and first month they're not getting traction, second month they're not getting traction, and you see them complain, I don't know what's happening, I'm doing everything right. I'm like, yeah, you've not found your source. You've not found the pain point of people you're trying to reach. You have a good product, you have a great pitch, but your pitch is blank. Your pitch is not connecting. And other than that, you're expecting so much yes that you're not getting used to beating no's. Now, of course, your aim is to get sales. Your aim is to get sales done. Your aim is to push this product onto the customer's hands, into this company's portfolio. That's your aim. Once you understand that there will be resistance, you prepare for it. If you're not prepared, it takes you unawares. If in your head you feel like, oh, this is so perfect and nobody's going to say no to me, then the first few times when you get no, it could literally crumble you, it could crumble your spirit, it could literally set you back so far back that you might never even want to do sales again. And the people who face this, one of the few industries that I know that if you're going in there, there's definitely resistance is insurance industry. And most people in the insurance industry deal with commissions, right? Rarely before you see an insurance company that pays like salary, base salary. Many of them work on commission. It means that the effort you put into selling is what will determine your pay, right? And there's so many different types of insurance companies. There's so many types, and there are not just so many types. There's so many types that are getting, innovated every day. They are getting created every day. So many. That's one industry that I had to learn that, okay, resistance is part of sales and also persistence. Now, to overcome these hurdles, you have to go back to seeing how and why they say no, right? Your page might be too bland. You're probably not connecting. You're not communicating what they need. Yes, they see that this product is good, but you're not telling them why this person needs it. You're not telling them why the organization needs it. You're not telling them the changes that it's going to bring. So, like, these are things that you have to go back on, but also the thing that will make you be able to come back and pitch this again to this person who's told you no, probably even insulted you, because that happens as well. um Working with Americans, I realized that rudeness is the thing that I should expect as well, right? I pick up the phone, I call them, and literally somebody will tell you, F your mother, F your father, we use very vulgar words. I think the very first time I received that, it was shocking to me, because here I am trying to be polite to this person, and the insult was so loud. This is a company phone, that everybody in the room paused and stared at me for like a few minutes, and like, oh, sorry, who's that? Like, why is this person insulting you? What did you say? you know because of how like vulgar this person was over the phone. And that took me aback, because I'm like trying to talk to you. But then I understood that there are lots of scam calls that go on in America, and there are lots of fraud, and some of these people have experienced this fraud. So it's not because of you that they're insulting you. It's more of their experiences. And so now what do? You have to be emotionally intelligent to understand that that's where it's coming from, that it's not towards you. And this person doesn't even know you enough to be angry at you. It's just angry at, what has happened to them. And I had to like learn this on my own. I had to like go back and like see why is it that. So my communication skills had to get better, and I had to learn better approaches to people. But if I wasn't resilient, I would have given up, trust me, because I felt bad. I can't even lie. The first month was terrible, right? And here I am now, over 8 years of experience, speaking to lots of people in the industry, and I'm fine. Like I literally pick up the phone and I don't even stress, right? But that took work, that took effort, that took a lot of, perseverance. And if not that I had, people who could encourage me to tell me, okay, you need to go back, I probably would have given up long ago. Strategic thinking. Now, for this one, it doesn't just boil down to you, boils down to a lot of factors, right? How much data can you get? How much accurate data can you get? How much of this data is effective in your industry? How much of this data is effective in identifying pain points, identifying your market dynamics and your competitive landscape, and how you can like use this data to analyze your market and then succeed in your market, right? Many times, I feel like if you're working alone, it's all good, but you need other heads for this particular part of sales. If you don't have a team in wherever you are, reach out to people in like same industry, but like in other companies. Reach out to them. Social media is a best way to reach out to people. Try as much as possible. Go online. Find people who can like talk to you about things, because many times you could be reading data wrongly. Many times you could be analyzing the wrong data. Many times, you might not be seeing what you're meant to see, because your mind isn't narrow-minded. You're narrow-minded, and you're not seeing like the larger picture, or like the drive in the market and things like that. So this is something that you have to really think about whenever you're like going into sales. When if you're already in sales and you're facing obstacles, don't always try to solve them yourself. Try and reach out to people in the same industry who you think that are doing better. Try to reach out to them and try to figure out what they do. And yeah, that will help you navigate, strategic thinking. Relationship building. So for this one, pretty much you have to, it boils down to communication, right? Boils down to empathy, boils down to emotional intelligence, and that's the best way to build relationship. um for somebody like myself now at this point in my career, I know who to reach out to for different kind of sales. I know who to reach out to, the people to reach out to if I'm feeling like I'm facing certain obstacles. If I feel like I'm facing some stumbling blocks that I want to cross and like it's proven difficult. But that wouldn't happen if I hadn't built the relationship with these people, because everybody's busy. Somebody taking out time to give you, 1 hour in their day, 2 hours in their day, 15 minutes in their day is such a big deal, right? Even if they are resting, because a lot of times people um have entitlement to other people's time, and they feel like, oh, you're resting now, so you should have time for me. But if that person has been working for so long and they decide to rest on particular day, it shows that the resting is also important to them. So anybody taking out time for you, it is a very big deal. But you cannot get that without building strong and trust-based relationships, especially in an industry that keeps evolving. With like tech, there's so many competitors coming up every single day for every part of tech, every single part of tech. So your company might be the best today, and that makes it easy, or even like the easiest when your company is the first in the space. Give it a year, you're having two, three competitors, right? And now you're facing blocks that you probably didn't expect. Now, the thing is, with relationships, you can also anticipate your competitors, right? I know how, like, there are times when I've learned of new information just based off the fact that somebody picked up the phone. I was like, hey, this is what's going on. We're about to launch next week. I just wanted to give you a heads up. That wouldn't happen, right? And when it comes to selling as well, for repetitive customers, for retentive customers, customers that keep returning back, for referrals, you need to build relationship. It is such a key factor. And you have to have good communication skills, you have to have empathy, you have to have emotional intelligence to understand people, and then also use that understanding as an advantage when communicating and build a relationship. For the next one, negotiation skills. So I always say this, when it comes to negotiation skills, it is a very, 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 very major part of, sales. Um, People don't like to spend money. And when they do spend money, they want to spend it and make sure that it gives them value, right? So no matter how good your product is, if somebody is offering a cheaper version, trust that there are people who will simply go because it's cheaper, not because it's better, simply because it's cheaper. And that's something that you have to understand in the sales world. So you can put your product wherever. I know people who have left the Apple ecosystem because they charge for everything, just because of that. And literally would tell you, okay, I'm done paying this outrageous fees for this amount of, for this product, for this, and then I want to leave, right? And they go over to like Android phones simply because some things they get it for free, right? And there are people like there will always be people like that. So what do? You understand that you have to have a good negotiation skill whenever you're selling. Another thing is making them understand that this thing is of mutual benefit, right? And that's something that with negotiation you can push. So it's not just about understanding numbers, understanding money, but also understanding how to secure mutually beneficial agreements. You have to negotiation. I'm not just the only person benefiting. You're also benefiting in this way, that way, this way. And trust me, when people see that, oh, I don't feel cheated, I'm not losing, they will be more open to whatever amount you put your product on. As long as they see value for what they're paying for, then they'll see. But a lot of times you get to sell this great product and you get to the part where the person says, oh, well, I can't pay this amount for this product. And now you're stuck because you don't know how to give a rebuttal. You don't know how to revert back at them and, come back with like a counter offer. And that literally ends your sales pitch. Literally, you could have done everything right. The person tells you, oh, I like your product, but yeah, we don't have the money to pay for that. That happens everywhere. Your negotiation skills should kick in and activate that listening part of the person where they understand that, okay, they're going to benefit from this in this way, that way, like that. And this is something that for different companies I've worked for, we've had to subconsciously train our people to understand, right? And for somewhere like talent pool, where we have like stipulated prices for things, when the person comes with a counter, we ask them, oh, so what's your budget for this? And they tell us, and then we work around their budget to see, okay, maybe you could increase this in this way. Now the person sees that, oh, we're not trying to force our prices on them. Many times they end up paying what we want at the end of the day. And everybody feels like, oh, okay, I got something out of this deal, right? When I worked in real estate as well, real estate market is very large. You deal with large sums of money, and people just don't want to part with that, especially when they feel like, oh, okay, the house doesn't, it's not worth it, or the area. And then now you have to talk about like the benefit of having companies around that area that's going to make like that house, the value go up in like a year. Like you have to sell this, right? But if you're not good at that, you literally wouldn't go far. You get to the end of your sales speech and then get, a lot of rejections just because of your negotiation skills. So it's something that if you're not good at it, you should take courses. Another angle is also speaking to finance people, understanding numbers, right? Understanding what your company is willing to let go of just to be able to get a good deal as well. Understanding the goal of your company, understanding how much revenue you're meant to meet up, because we're so focused on how much we want to benefit a lot of times that we're not willing to let anything go. But with negotiation, you have to let some things go. It's back and forth until you guys get to an agreed point, and then everybody feels satisfied with the agreement. Because sometimes you can get to even secure this person and they go talk to your team, come back, and literally will tell you, oh, I'm not sure we can do that again. I don't want to go forward with this deal. And now you're left wondering, oh, but we agreed like 2 days ago, we agreed last week. Yeah. But he's gone back, spoken to his team, and he couldn't even convince his team that, oh, this is why I agreed to that. So he comes back with the team's ideology of canceling out that deal or wanting to renegotiate, and for you it's like, what happened? But there's a way you convince somebody with a lot of mutually beneficial agreements that they would then be the spokesman for you in their own organization. That even when their company's like, why are we paying this? They literally have a whole list of things to tell them that, oh, this is why we're doing this. And now you're convinced somebody so much that he's now the person that's convincing others for you. Time management. Um, for this one, I would say it's also a personal skill, just like communication, just like empathy. A lot of people lack this. We have 24 hours in a day. It means that for every single thing we want to do, if we want to make it that day, then we have to, time it. We have to put it under a certain time frame so that we can accomplish. For sales, it's even trickier because per different industry you get like the closing rate, and from the closing rate you get the closing time frame, right? And this is what determines the amount of time you'll be given to or assigned a certain task. you know um Sometimes companies don't care. You can take your time as long as you meet your KPIs of securing certain number of clients in a month, right? For some companies, they give you a time frame. Okay, within 1 month, you should have secured 10 clients. Within 10 months, you should have secured, you know, and they will literally put you on a timer. Personally, I've had to work on my time management because for me, I could go on a conversation for an hour, 2 hours, and literally all in a bid to convince this person to come on board with our products, with our service. I'll do this, right? And then I realized, oh, that's also shooting myself in the foot sometimes because there are days when I could have closed like 2, 3 clients and I'm closing just one simply because I enjoy the process, right? And I had to put myself on the time. Okay, within now the best way to do that is also understanding your process in full so that you know that okay, you spend 5 minutes convincing this person to even speak to you. Then the next 5 minutes you spend talking about your product, the next 5 minutes you spend telling them the benefit of the product to them, and then the next 5 minutes you spend negotiating. This is literally something I've done. I put myself on the timer. In 15 minutes, you should do this. 15 minutes, you should do this. And I put those things, and within an hour, I'm done. Literally something that formerly I would have done maybe for like 4 or 5 hours because I was just talking without direction, right? And that has helped me prioritize things. That has helped me have a very organized workflow. That's helped me optimize and maximize my result, right? Which is closing this client. And literally, even my boss at the time noticed my close rate. He called me and was like, you're getting better now at closing. Like, what is this that you've changed? And I laughed and I showed him my notes. I was like, oh, this is something I decided to do, tie myself with like speaking about, different parts of like, the sales process. And he was like, that's impressive. And then what we now did was implement, I think that was the first time I ever got a leadership role where it was like, okay, teach everybody everything that you've been doing to like, get better at this. And that till tomorrow, whenever I'm going for any job, that's one of the bosses that I know that I could always send him send people his number and be like, call him to ask him about like my work rate, and I'm 100% sure he's always going to have my back, because it wasn't just a friendship that we built. He saw my effectiveness, saw like how much I was always willing to learn. Continuous learning. I think we've spoken on this over time. If you're somebody who's adapting, you're somebody who's you know, having your adaptability skills, your communication skills, teachable skills, then of course continuous learning is part of the process. Um, Generally, when you hone all these skills, you'll be well equipped to thrive in how much the sales world um, is, and also you learn how to, get like the best and maximum reward from the tech sales industry. Yeah, so do you guys have any questions?
Thank you so much, Otsu. This is so packed full. Like there's just a lot of things to you have shared on. There's a lot of things you have spoken about. And really want to thank you for taking out the time to come here. It's we totally understand how busy your schedule is. Um so, and thank you everyone for coming in. Ty, I see you have a question, but I just wanted to like ask off this question because I know that, it was like a prerequisite of some things that you said, mostly about communication. And I know you mentioned one character trait, introverts. So, and I wanted to ask, is there, does being an introvert or an extrovert like have good, okay, I think I should frame it this way. Good salespeople can, for good salespeople, does it matter if you're an introvert or an extrovert? Does, extroverts become like very good salespeople and introverts are like not, you know, salespeople, good salespeople?
Well, my using myself as an example, right? I don't think there's any, like, anybody can do sales. It's one of the jobs that I feel like, with results, you can even build passion. I entered sales because I wanted to make money.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that commissions, they are not capped to like the commissions you can make, and I'm like, I'm in, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing was, I understood from my background that you need to be a salesperson for every industry you're in to be able to push your company to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So as an introvert, all you need to do is you push past your, introverted state when it comes to your job. When it comes to your job, nobody should see you quiet in the corner when you're at an event. Nobody should see you quiet in the corner when you're trying to sell something. Nobody should be able to shut you down that easily. And the only way to do that is to beat your introverted state, natural state, and get past it. Like I said, I would literally not speak to people for weeks. I can lock myself up in the house and be there for 2 months. Since I've worked remotely, I've done that actually, where I would literally go to the grocery store, get stuff, come into the house, and decide I'm not going out for the next 2 months. Being those, I don't even think people can do that, right? And yet, like when I jump on a call, the other person comes out and I start speaking, right? So an introverted person can surely succeed. And so,
Yeah, I like that a lot. I usually tell people because when I tell people, oh, I've been in sales like all my career life, and they're like, oh, sales, no, I can't do that, telling people what to come and buy and everything. And they give me this, they make this very simple mistake of telling me, oh, sales is like marketing. I'm like, no, it's not marketing, I literally have to go talk to people and, all of that. So you're right. I think anyone in, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, I think you can be good or a great salesperson. My last question, I know that we're almost out of time. My last question is sales skill like an innate, is it something you were born to do? Because it almost, you see some good salespeople and it almost feels like, oh, they were born this way. Um, is it innate?
well,
Is it something you can grow into?
I don't think it's in it. I think what is in it is your communication skills. I think that's
Mm,
what's in it. You can have
mm,
great communication skills. Now,
mm,
converting that to a sales skill is the key factor, because I could come here and make you laugh. And then when I start talking about my product, you're like, just forget it. I don't want to buy it. Oh, you're so funny. I like you. But then you go, then my objective is failed, right?
mm,
So,
mm,
for that, I don't think sales skill is innate. I think it's something you have to work on. I think it's something you have to build. I think it's something you have to hone to be able to
mm,
be good. Communication skills might be the best, which means
mm,
that if when somebody else who doesn't have good communication enters a room, you be the shiny star. Everybody's like, oh my God, they remember you. But then
mm,
the person comes in and says just little and they sell. You don't. You go home empty.
mm.
What's the point, right? So you have to build your sales skills. I don't think it's innate.
Yeah, and I always tell people that you know, s- we sell every day as human beings. I always use like this very simple analogy, like you have like your significant other or your partner, and you want to watch a TV, and as a female, maybe you're watching a movie and all of that, and then your significant other wants to watch like football, for example, and you're not interested in that. You have to sell yourself to get the remote from the person, to change the station and all of that. And it sells. So I think it's like it's in everyone. You just have to pull it out. Thank you so much,
Mhm.
Otsu. Um, Ty, I think you can ask your questions now.
Hey, yeah. I just want to say, yeah, thanks a lot for doing that presentation. I think it was really awesome that you took the time out to do that. I just had a question, just based on your company, because I know your company. So I'm here in the U.S., so I know your company does a lot of business with like other countries. Like, what are some of the biggest challenges that you're seeing currently when it comes to just, I guess, like the international sales world, and what are some things that you know us in other countries can do to just help make it just a better selling landscape for people that are trying to do international business?
I think first of all, it depends on the country. Formerly I used to work per continent and assume that, oh, okay, this entire continent would behave like this. But then I realized no,
Mm,
even in countries, you have to also consider the state as well, because per different states, per different characters, like it's the nuances that you have to look out for are so diverse that if you're not like watching out for them, you might get shot in the foot. And by that I mean that there are times when back then I would deal with the UK guys, and I started working. My first international job was with a UK company. Now UK citizens are used to you greeting them, being extra polite. They don't even care if it's fake. Just be extra polite when you're speaking to them. It doesn't matter. Now I took that same character, which is a good thing, to be polite is a good thing, and went to the American market. My first year was bad. Literally, my boss called me. He's like, "You say please too much, you say thank you too much." I'm like, "How's that even a problem?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a problem. Americans who speak like that, they like it to be direct." And when I went to the Irish market, even worse. Irish people you would think that they're quarreling with you just by speaking to them. Literally, it's like they're so like that their approach is so aggressive that for somebody like myself who is coming from like the UK market, I'm like, I'm not used to this, right? So with every single market, you have to study the people that you're trying to sell to. You have no choice, literally no choice. You have to study these people and then know how to approach them before thinking of your product. Because if I can get access to you to even speak back to me, then where am I getting the opportunity to even sell anything to you? Where? Nowhere. If I come to you and be like, hey, and Ty, you shut me down immediately, there's nowhere that I'm able to pitch whatever product or whatever service I want to sell. So you have to study the people that you want to sell to internationally. You have to take out that time to research how they behave. I even made friends in all these countries. I have friends in literally all parts of the world because of sales. And that's because that made me understand people better. Right. Like I said, I'm good at communication. So that part was easy. but I had to understand that, okay, let me understand how your people are, right? From just talking to you. And I ask questions a lot. I'm like, hey, how, like, I'm trying to sell this to your people. Do you think that you guys need it in your country? Do you think that you guys need it in your state? And this is not somebody I'm trying to pitch to, by the way. So that, like, here, there's no sales pitch, nothing. The person then advises me on what they think their people would like, what they think that would sell to their people. Basic conversation. And from there, and I'll take that, obviously adjust my sales pitch, and then go for my potential clients.
That's really good. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially when you're talking about selling in different states, because us in the US, we have to deal with that where, you know, a lot of people see it as
Exactly.
a country, but each state is totally different in terms of like how they interact and how they communicate. So yeah, 100% agree. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Okay.
Um,
I think we're just on time. If there are no more
yeah,
questions.
we are.
Thank
I
you.
was surprised that we did the time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. I know that, for everyone who's celebrating like Easter, this is like the time to spend with family and all of that, but you decided to come out here. Thank you so much, Otu, for being here. This session was amazing. This is a great way to kickstart like our live sessions,
I
which
think
will
Isaiah
be.
wants to,
Oh,
sorry to
hi,
interrupt
Isaiah.
you. Isaiah wants to, like, is raising his hand.
Isaiah, please go ahead. Do you have a question?
Hello?
Isaiah.
I'm in a noisy environment. I was waiting to be in a bit quieter place so I can ask my question.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
We can hear you.
All right. So thank you so much. It was a very insightful section. I want to ask the approaches you've gave. They're mostly centric. Are they mostly centric to B2C, or do they also work in B2B sales? Because you gave some
So I,
instance example for example, the cold emails and the like. So I'm asking, is what you said, are they basically for just B2C, or do they also work for the B2B market also? Thank you.
okay. So they work both ways, right? Like I said, you have to study who you want to sell to. So there are people before anything, before any company is an organization, the people you're talking to are people. You're not talking to an AI machine, you're talking to a person, right? The way you get into any company, any organization, if you're doing B2B, is to get through to the person that's going to attend to you. That could be the CEO, that could be the decision makers, that could be the sales team on the other end, that could be the marketing team, whichever. But you're talking to an individual, understand this first. So when you're going to B2B, you should understand where the person is from, the culture that they have in that company, right? I'll tell you this. For medtech, right, for medical technology, regardless of how much your tech is good, if you don't understand what that thing is trying to solve medically, you're not getting access to selling to any of the persons you're trying to sell to, right? Now, I go to meet a hospital and I'm telling them about a good product for their patients and everything. And they start asking you intricate questions. You're not a doctor, but understand what you're trying to sell. Now, you understand that because you understand that that's the language that you're trying to speak to these doctors. These guys are doctors, they're not tech guys like you. And you're trying to explain to them what your tech is solving for them as doctors. So understanding that these are individuals, understanding the company cultures in this place would help you sell B2C, B2B. It doesn't matter. They're applicable both ways. You just have to study your potential clients and then sell to them in the language that they will understand.
Isaiah, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Um, 2 minutes over. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking our time to be here. Thank you, Otu,
Thank you,
for
guys.
being here. Um, if that is all. I want to give you all back your evening. Thank you for being here and have a great holiday
A
ahead.
weekend.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Akachi.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Mm. Finish. Mhm.